It's Sunday, March 11th, 2012. I'm Kevin McShann, and this is the McShann Sports Beat Report.
Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today. I want to be a part of it. New York, New York. These vagabond shoes are longing to stray right through the very heart of it. New York, New York. I want to wake up in a city that doesn't sleep and find I'm king of the hill, top of the heap. These little town blues are melting away. I'll make a brand new start of it in old New York. If I can make it there, I'll make it anywhere. It's up to you, New York, New York.
Jets also appear to be out of the Manning sweepstakes. Friday night, they extended Mark Sanchez's contract from 2 to 5 years with $20.5 million in guaranteed money the next 2 seasons. Sanchez and the Jets missed out on the playoffs this past season after he took New York to the AFC Championship game in his first 2 seasons.
It's been cool for me to be drafted in New York and play and have the opportunity to play these past 3 years. One of the greatest cities in the country, and to have the success we had, especially in those first 2 years, was so much fun to be a part of. So to find out that I can come back for 3 more years means the world to me, and I'm absolutely pleased to be a Jet. And it really does. Just my family's ecstatic, and now it's time to get to work.
Funny how the domino effect works here, Jason. The Jets have given Mark Sanchez a bit of an extension. Is this a geez, we're sorry that your name might have been dragged through the mud the last couple of days kind of gift?
Man, it's a little deeper than that. I mean, this is not just a Band-Aid. I mean, they're putting a lot of money in front of Mark Sanchez. 3 additional years on top of the 2 that are already there. $40 million plus in max, I was going to say max salary. $40 million plus in base salary additional. You got $20 million of that guaranteed. Another $10 million on top of that 40 you can get an escalator. So the absolute max compensation could be over $50 million. You put this whole package together, those 5 years left on this deal with these 3 new years, just less than $70 million, $13.5 million a year. Mark Sanchez isn't going anywhere. The Jets are committed to him, and really they just made, at best, one perfunctory phone call to Tom Condon and Manning's camp about a potential move, but we're never seriously in this to begin with.
All right, 2 things. Number 1, good use of perfunctory. And number 2, just to button that up. Manning, no, not going to the Jets. Forget about it.
Not going to the Big Apple.
The maturation process of a quarterback is measured by the quality of his performance and endurance level of his mental capacity to execute under the most extreme of circumstances. And late Friday night, the New York Jets emboldened Mark Sanchez, the face of their franchise, with a vote of confidence in the form of a 3-year contract extension to ensure that he continues to wear his gangrene uniform for many more years to come. The new contract will make Sanchez the 6th or 7th highest paid quarterback in the league. He also has the potential to earn $10 million in additional escalation clauses, making the maximum value of the 3-year contract extension $50.5 million. And over the lifetime duration of the deal, Sanchez will earn $68.25 million, according to NFL Network's Jason Lockenfora. Mike Tannenbaum, the Jets' general manager, appeared on ESPN New York's 1050 with Dave Rothenberg to discuss why the team thought it was necessary to extend Sanchez at this time, their pursuit of Peyton Manning, and the club's plan as they head into free agency.
Obviously, you guys make some big news last night with the extension with Mark Sanchez. I want to get right to that immediately. Why now? Why after 3 years, with still a couple of years remaining on his current deal, did you guys find it necessary to sign him to a 3-year extension?
Well, we at the end of the season identified Mark as a young player that we wanted to keep around for a while, just like David Harris, Sean Ferguson, Nick Mangold, Darrelle Revis. He's part of a young nucleus of guys that we wanted to keep together. And I think the most important statistic in evaluating quarterbacks, besides having a good, healthy right tackle, of course, would be wins. And when you look at what he's done since 2009, he has 31 wins, which is 6th most in the NFL. So have things been perfect with Mark? Absolutely not. But with that said, we thought that things were improving year over year. He has improved, and he's led us to a lot of wins. And ultimately, that's what you judge a quarterback by.
Hey, Mike, quick question. I was wondering, do you worry about how the contract extension will play out in the locker room when you openly question, talked about Sanchez's performance last year and how he needs to play better?
Yeah, when we certainly looked at that, and obviously, in any young player, there's going to be areas to improve, and Mark's no exception. But again, there's a lot more good than bad, and because of his work ethic and his commitment, we expect those things to continue to improve, and we want to continue to reward our guys that work hard and that we've won games with, and we think it's the right message. And our goal is to keep trying to have the nucleus of this team come through the draft, and as they improve and ascend, and we keep winning games with them, we're going to try to keep as many of those players as possible.
Jets general manager Mike Tannenbaum joining us here on ESPN New York with our NFL free agent frenzy here. I got to ask you, because it's been certainly talked about ad nauseum locally here, Peyton Manning. How seriously were the Jets as far as players for Peyton Manning?
No question. We looked into him. We had to. That's, again, my obligation. He's a first ballot Hall of Fame quarterback. That's, once in a generation type player. One of the, greatest players that ever played our sport. So, of course, we had to look into it. And we did have discussion internally, and we did, reach out to his representatives. But with that said, we've been talking to Mark's people for several weeks, and we're really happy where we wound up and feel good about Mark. And again, the part about Mark that we feel great about is we've won a lot of games with Mark as a Jet, as our starting quarterback. It's not a projection. It's not like he's been the backup. We've won 31 games with him in 3 years. That's a lot of wins, and it hasn't been perfect. And I'm not sitting here saying, we're set there and that's it. No, it's Mark's done well, and we expect him to do better, and his level of improvement needs to continue, and we're confident that it is.
Now, do you think that the big extension for Sanchez is going to hinder you moving forward in free agency, trying to get a suitable backup quarterback for Mark?
Well, first of all, we do expect Greg McElroy back. We're still evaluating Kevin O'Connell, Mark Brunell. There's the draft, and obviously there's free agency. So, every free agent quarterback who isn't a starter, they're going to look at a number of things. But I think, as Demi can tell you, we have a great story to tell here. Since Woody Johnson's on this team since 2000, the New York Jets have had the fewest players on injured reserve, period. And what that talks about is the resources we put into our players and the wellness we take so seriously, and we do everything within reason to give our players every chance to be successful. And we have the best facility in the world, we have the best location in the world, and we have a great story to tell. And that's why we think we can go out and get free agents regardless of position. They're going to get coached, they're going to get developed, they're going to get treated well. And as we said, over a 12-year period, no team's been healthier than we have.
Jets GM Mike Tannenbaum joining us here on a Saturday morning. Mike, do you look at your future, you individually, as tied to Mark Sanchez right now?
Well, I have the greatest job in the world. I'm the general manager of the Jets, and Mr. Johnson for giving me this opportunity, and I always feel, that next year is the most important, and we're trying to build something here to have long-term sustainability, and specifically from where I sit in the world, from a GM's perspective, you want your head coach and your quarterback to be, tied together from a standpoint that Mark and Rex came in together. They're the foundation, they're the face of our franchise, and I feel really good about, those are two guys that love football, and they care deeply, and they're good at what they do, and we're really hoping that we have the foundation here for a long, long time, both with Mark and Rex.
Okay, so you get the big extension for Sanchez. Where do you focus next? What is your major area in free agency that you need to take care of?
I think what I've learned for a long time now is, we want to go get the next best football player. 2 years ago, we drafted Mark. We gave a lot for Mark. We gave, 2 picks, 3 players, and we're sitting there in the 3rd round, and we have Thomas Jones and Leon Washington on our team, and there's Sean Green, who was the 19th guy on our board, and we traded up for Sean because he was the next best football player we can get, and that's always going to be our attitude. So when we see the right player and the right value for our situation, we'll be aggressive. Same thing with the draft. I want to go into the draft as best we can with our roster filled. And if our roster's filled, we can then go, I think, operate from a position of strength and then just go take the best football player.
There's been so much question about the identity of the Jets, and I think the first 2 years of your regime with Rex and Mark, we knew that this was they want to run the football. You guys want to establish the running game, play action, work the ball downfield to your nice receivers. Moving forward now, having had a little change and maybe things not working out exactly as you wanted last year, what do you want the identity of this football team to be in 2012?
I think it's really, I just want to be game plan specific as it relates to Coach Sperano on offense, that we're going to want to run the ball. It's really important to us. We've invested a lot of resources, on our offensive line for a number of years. It's something that we believe in. And obviously Coach Sperano has pedigree of the Northeast and his toughness in the run game, but they did a lot of things very well in the passing game that he doesn't get credit for in Miami, and I think he's going to bring those things up here. And I think in particular guys like Dustin Keller can have a really good year, and I think we want to be game plan specific, but I think it starts up front with really solid offensive line play, and from there I think that can give us a chance to be real consistent on offense.
Respect is an earned privilege and not an expected right, and only those willing to experience both the trials and hardships of failure while also basking in the glory of success will ultimately earn the label of being respected. For Mark Sanchez, he's certainly been on both sides of the fence during his 3-year tenure as the quarterback of the Jets, Jets. And I think it's fair to say that he's still in the process of earning his stripes and understanding the true totality of what it takes to be successful in the league. Football is the ultimate team sport, and it's time for the Jets to rally around each other and round up the troops and get their house in order after a tumultuous finish to what turned out to be a very disappointing year. The Jets were simply mediocre at best, and that is simply unacceptable for a team with as much talent as the Jets possess. However, there's no time like the present to wipe the slate clean and start anew. That process began on Friday night when the Jets locked up one of the most critical pieces to their long-term extended success in Sanchez. Now, the onus is on Sanchez to step to the center of the cockpit and take a seat in the captain's chair to ensure that the Jets take flight. Kevin McShann, Sports Beat, report.